regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, October the 10th. Please stand for our invocation, led by Father Thomas Hurd, Public Safety Chaplain, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Gracious God, creator of all things, creator of everything that is, everything that will be. We praise you for our creation, for our preservation. Help us always to feel your presence in our lives. We come to you, gracious God, who is ever more willing to listen than we to pray, ever more willing to forgive than we are to confess. Be with us. Help us. Help us to know your presence. Help us to feel your guidance in our lives. Help us to find our way to live according to your will. We ask your blessings, O Lord, upon this city, upon its citizens, upon its city council who does the work of the city. Help them to feel your wisdom within them. Help them to know your presence always. Help them to follow your will. These things we ask in your holy and blessed name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, President Small.
Here.
Vice President Gregory.
Here.
Councilmember Penn.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Councilmember Reynolds.
Here.
Councilmember Daves. Councilmember Woods.
Here.
Statement of rules.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to our October 10th meeting. At this meeting, we do have rules. At this time, I ask if anyone have any type of electronic device, including cell phones, please at this time put it on the off or the vibrator position, the off or the vibrator position. Any person that is desiring to address the council must sign in indicating the resolution, the ordinance, appeal, or public hearing agenda item before entering the meeting. When addressing the council, the speaker must give his or her name. Any person desiring to address the council on a non-agenda item must contact the city clerk's office the Thursday prior to the council meeting by 2:00 p.m. The subject that he or she wishes to express to the council must be identified and pertain to the city of Mobile business. And a person who has not given proper notice to the city clerk office and wish to speak on a non-agenda item will not be allowed to address this council. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to address the council. A bell will sound to indicate the end of 2 minutes. 1 minute remains for summarizing. The second bell indicates that your time has expired. When addressing the council, there is to be no personal address to any individual council members. All statements are to be made to the chair, who will recognize any council member who wishes to respond. To maintain decorum, there will be no undue applause and or public outcry allowed. Madam City Clerk.
Approval of minutes of October 3rd.
So moved. Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All over.
Communications from Mayor Stimson.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
It's good to see everybody here this morning. Thank you for coming. Like you, over the weekend, when I found out that Israel is at war, I started thinking about the impact that that could have on us. The longer that goes on, the more impact it will probably have. And so many of you don't realize this, but we have a sister city that's in the West Bank. It's Ariel, Israel. The mayor, Eli Shavero, has been here in my office at least 3 times. I've been to visit them. They're only 7 miles from Tel Aviv. They're out kind of on the point of the spear. We've been texting back and forth over the last couple of days. He asked for our ongoing prayers for their conflict. They're in a place where none of us hope we'll ever find ourselves, so please keep our sister city, REL, in your prayers. This past weekend, starting Friday, really Thursday or Wednesday, when I started with the Gulf Coast Challenge, all the activities. It was a huge success. We're going to hear more about that from Danny Cordy, but a lot of interaction in the community about that. Anyway, just great that we can sponsor that game, and very exciting. The other thing is the Carnival Spirit was here. A couple of the city councilors, Councilman Woods and Councilman Small, were there to greet the first passenger aboard. You know, you've heard that it is the largest ship that we've ever had come into the Port of Mobile as far as embarking passengers. So anyway, great kickoff for that. They'll be coming back in this Saturday and continue on through the next 6 months. But it means a lot to our community from the standpoint of economic development when the ship is sailing out of the Port of Mobile. Also, I'd like to point out that a couple of meetings that we have coming up. One is the Brownsfield Community Meeting. And over the last 2 years, we've worked with Africatown community to assess the environmental conditions of several properties of interest in Africatown. Work has been done through an EPA Brownsfield grant. Community meeting is going to be October 24th at 6 p.m. at the Hope Center. They will discuss the status and results of those assessments at this time. You know, our hope is that they can take those properties, and once they get the proper clearance, that they can be put back into production. That is the ultimate goal of that. So I hope that if you can attend that meeting, if you can't be there in person, you could attend it through a Zoom connection. Wheelchair tennis. Mobile Parks and Rec Department has launched an exciting and inclusive wheelchair tennis program. We hosted a successful wheelchair tennis workshop and clinic for players and coaches over the summer. After it drew so much attention from the para-athletes and their advocates, we've decided that we're going to implement a weekly program for those that would like to participate. So please spread the word, and they can join us at the court every Wednesday from 6 to 8 o'clock p.m. At this time, I'm waiting on a proclamation to come, so I'm going to skip. Here we go. Nothing like perfect timing. So this proclamation has to do with our pets. For those that don't realize it, this is Adopt a Shelter Pet Month. Okay, so we're talking about the shelter pets, and it's Adopt a Shelter Pet Month, and it reads, whereas in the city of Mobile there are hundreds of pets waiting to be adopted into a loving home on any given day, and whereas the city of Mobile's animal services employees and other organizations in our community work tirelessly to help homeless pets. That's a new term. Anyway, whereas volunteers in our community help support the City of Mobile Animal Services through donations of their time and funds, and whereas pets make life better by giving people love, companionship, and comfort, getting us outside for exercise and helping us build social connections, and whereas the City of Mobile recognizes the benefits of pets and working to reach our lowest rate ever for pet homelessness. Now therefore, I, William S. Stimson, the 108th Mayor of the City of Mobile, do hereby proclaim October 2023 as Adopt a Shelter Pet Month in the City of Mobile. Robert and Bryant, would you come forward? Congratulations. So I'd also like to take time and point out that Robert has been named the National Animal Care and Control Association, the 2023 Shelter Professional of the Year. There's a huge recognition. If you think back where we have been and where we were in this arena, you know, Robert has come in and made sweeping changes, and all he's asking for us is to figure out how to fund a brand new animal shelter, which we're trying to figure out how do we do that. But anyway, a whole lot is attributable to Robin. He's well deserving of this award, so let's give him another big round of applause. Congratulations. Yeah. Employees of the month, Jim DeLapp.
Parks and Rec come up first, and we're gonna recognize our Parks and Rec Employee of the Month.
Good morning, Council. I'm here to recognize Parks Department Employee of the Month for October, which is none other than Antonio Peterson. We call him Toby. Toby's been around like maybe 25 years now. He's a PSW3 out in Parks, Western Department, and he's a pretty good guy, man. Always positive, willing to help anybody do anything, and I'm just happy to have him in my department, man. I hope I can keep him for another 25 years. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'd just like to thank you for the 25 years I've been with the city of Mobile, and it's been enjoyable, and thank you very much.
Congratulations again.
If we get Public Services, Mark Vasallo and team to come up.
Good morning, everybody. Charles Summerall, the fleet manager, he's sick today, so I'm going to do the presentation because it's from his department. And so today, I'm honored to recognize our fleet coordinator, Adam Lynn. So just opposite of what you last heard, Adam hasn't been with the city for 30-something years. He's been here for about 6 months. I created this new position really to focus in on taking care of all our outsourced maintenance with the fleet, because we have a lot of outsourced maintenance, and it's becoming, with all these different areas, it was really becoming hectic, and we needed somebody to focus in on it. So, but what I got is I got a lot more than that, because what I found is Adam jumps in on every task needed. In addition to managing all that work that's outsourced outside the city, he has taken on coming up with a process to get NextGen, our new asset management and work order management system, online for the fleet, and coming up with the processes needed for that for the entire city. And he's taken on integrating the new driver camera system in all our city vehicles, the Samsara system, and getting that all installed, and working with all the departments in the city to get all the vehicles down and equipment that needs to get installed. So really, the attribute of Adam that really brings him to the forefront for this award is that he has that initiative to take and look where help needs where it needs help, and jump in where it needs to be. So I really hope the rest of the public services employees aspire to be have the attributes that Adam has. So congratulations. Yeah, all right, I got it.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
And finally, I'd like Nick Amberger to come up and speak about our Public Works at Large Employee of the Month.
Well, good morning, everyone. Y'all are in the presence of greatness this morning. I will tell you, on the Public Works Employee at Large Employee of the Month is Dudley Mask. Dudley has served the city of Mobile probably longer than some of the council members might be alive. I know his looks don't show it. He looks like a 25-year-old. Dudley started his career with Moz. He was with Moz for about 16 years, and then has been with the city for 25. So he's just getting started. We hope to keep him for a few more. It goes without saying, with drainage, Dudley knows more than anybody in the city of Mobile about drainage. When my office can't figure out things or issues, and there's history that needs to be kind of untangled about it, we go to Dudley, and he's just truly an asset for the city. What some of his fellow employees have to say about him, that he shares his knowledge, willingness. He mentors the younger staff. He's kind of the primary land disturbance inspector for the city, so it just gotten a little bit bigger, so we've got more things for you to learn and know about now, Dudley, so congratulations there. But it just goes without saying, it's such an honor to be able to present him and introduce him to y'all. Some of you may have already known him, but Dudley's just truly an asset to the city. And with 41 years under his belt, I mean, I think we've got another 20 or 25 in you. We're looking forward to it. So Dudley, congratulations.
All I have to say is I'm really overwhelmed, Nick. You know, it takes more than just one person. Obviously, if I didn't have you, Jesse Yawn, George Davis, all of y'all back me 100%. Everything I do out there in the field, inspections, enforcement, y'all are just great. And this is a validation for the engineering department, actually, as a whole. It takes more than just me. So I'm grateful to all of y'all. And thanks again so much.
Congratulations.
That concludes our remarks. Thank you.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second?
Oh, yeah.
This morning we had some representatives from the Penelope House, and the council and the city want to present you all with a proclamation. And this reads, whereas once a secret kept in families, domestic violence is now recognized as a serious crime, one that has severe consequences for the survivors, their children, employers, and the community. And whereas the problems of domestic violence are confined to any group or groups of people, but cut across all economic, racial, and social barriers, and are supported by social indifferences. And whereas the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting individual and society here in the community, throughout the United States and the world. And whereas 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men ages 18 and older in the United States have been victims of severe physical violence by intimate partners in their lifetime. And whereas stopping the cycle of this vicious crime requires not only the resolve and courage of survivors, but also the support and involvement of all. And now, therefore, we, the members of the Mobile City Council, along with Mayor Sandy Stimpson, in recognition of Penelope House and its 44 years of service in our community, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Mobile, Alabama, and urge all the citizens to partner with the city of Mobile and Penelope House to create a community where people thrive in safe and healthy relationships. Done at the city of Mobile, Alabama on this 10th day of October 2023. Thank you all so much.
Well, I just wanted to say quickly, Dana Polk is our board president, and I asked her to be here with us today because it's not just Penelope House who can provide the services. It's our board who stands by us and supports us, and it's the community as well. You know, there's a Mobile County Domestic Violence Task Force that MPD is a part of, you know, all law enforcement, city prosecutors. We all are trying to look at the different angles of domestic violence, but certainly it affects everyone. And since the mayor brought up about pets, we also provide services for victims who have pets with them, because a lot of victims won't leave their homes because they're scared what will happen to their pet. So thank you for the proclamation. Thank y'all for your support. because I know each of you know that domestic violence happens in all of your districts and throughout the city. So we do all we can, and we appreciate all that you do to have our backs.
Thank you all again.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
And properly moved in second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda's adopted.
Appeals, we have requests for waiver of the noise ordinance on October the 29th in Trinity Gardens, May 18th in Benville Square, October 13th and the 14th on Marine Street, October 21st on Griffith Circle, October 14th in Melavana Park.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Appeal passes.
Public hearings today is a public hearing to consider approval of a conditional use permit to allow a home-based daycare in an R1 property located at 611 Shannon Street.
This opened up the public hearing for this particular said item. Is anyone present that would like to address the council? If so, you may come down to the podium by stating your name. Again, this public hearing is open. If not, this particular public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Danny Cordy.
Good morning, Mr. President, City Council, Mayor Stimson, and your staff, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Danny Cordy, Executive Director of the Mobile Sports Authority, and I am here to give you an update on our last fiscal year and this past weekend. So first, I want to thank you, as always, as your investment in us has allowed us to be successful, and we always want to thank you for that, because without your investment, we couldn't be putting on these events that really are good for our community. For our recently completed fiscal year 23, which our fiscal year is on the same as the city and the county, October 1, September 30th, the MSA attracted, hosted, supported, and or managed 39 sporting events, which generated an estimated $31 million in economic impact to the Mobile area. And that $31 million estimate is a record by about 20% over our next best year, which was fiscal 2016. So your continuing investment is where we are on that. Those 39 events involve 19 different sports, and I apologize, I'm throwing some numbers at you, I know. These 39 events involve 19 different sports such as basketball, gymnastics, volleyball, baseball, track and field, wrestling, football, soccer, and yes, even a World Turkey Calling Championship, just to name a few. So again, I mentioned the 20% increase. Another notable number on these 39 events from last year, 15 of those 39 events were either first or second time events for Mobile. And 24 of those 39 were youth oriented, that being the participants anywhere from ages 4 to 19. And the youth sports events are really the events that we like to try to go after, because we all know when a child travels for a sports event, mom and dad go usually, sometimes grandparents, siblings, sometimes aunts and uncles. So that's the biggest economic impact in our industry, are youth sporting events. And as for our largest event this past weekend, the 6th Annual Gulf Coast Challenge, powered by the Mobile Sports Authority, we believe was another big success. We estimated we had 19,000 at LAD. Fans also, and the mayor mentioned it, all during the week enjoyed an event-filled week with a college and career fair for our local students, several free concerts, a team luncheon, Mardi Gras-style parade, and of course game day tailgating, and the game itself won by Jackson State 45-30. In the previous 5 Gulf Coast Challenge games, because we won't have our final numbers on this game for probably the next 2 to 4 weeks, we estimate 47,000 visitors have come through Mobile, which has generated an estimated economic impact of $27 million for our area from this single event, all those 5 games put together. And we've added another HBCU game, the Port City Classic, as you well know, coming up November 4th, where Alabama State will be hosting Grambling, and we hope to have another good crowd then. In addition to those 2 aforementioned games, we have 22 more sports events planned for fiscal...
Council, can I grant him 1 more minute? Okay.
He's a partner agent.
Thank you, I'm almost finished. We have 22 more sporting events coming up for fiscal '24, including we announced last week for the first time ever, the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Bowling Championship will be held in Mobile in January for the next 3 years. So we're excited about that as we interface with the AHSAA and bring more of their events here. So again, we thank you so much for your investment. We're always available to answer questions about anything or suggestions or thoughts, and we look forward to a great fiscal '24. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, Mr. Carroll, Ms. Carroll, Ms. Gray.
I can wait. Ladies first.
No, I'm just saying thank you, Danny. Appreciate the update and the success that you were having in bringing all of these sporting events to the city means a lot. And the game was great over the weekend. Couldn't have asked for better weather all week long, and Glad Stadium looked terrific. So thank you for all that you and your board members do.
Well, as other people have said today, it's a team effort. I'm just one person. There were a lot of moving parts. And
A lot of moving parts and pieces, but yes, it all came together.
Thank you so much for the nice comments.
Danny, great weekend. I know you said you missed me at the game this weekend, but I had some visitors in from Washington, D.C. this weekend who were entertaining along with Kappa Tent. They had a great time coming into the city. Really enjoyed our city this weekend. It was great to actually show them what Mobile can do. I saw Gina and Josh, saw you guys running around out there. I was excited to see y'all, especially Josh, brand new to this. A great job to everybody that put the game on. But Danny, I've got a challenge for you.
Okay.
Once upon a time in Mobile, in what we used to call the auditorium, that's now the Civic Center, there was an indoor track facility. And right now in the state of Alabama, there's only one indoor track where every high school in the state of Alabama participates every weekend for 8 weeks. Every weekend for 8 weeks, and that includes the Alabama State Indoor Track Championships. And that doesn't exclude the United States Track and Field Indoor Track for AAU. Mobile is a prime location where thousands of kids would come every year for indoor track. And with everything that we have going on here, with us becoming a sports hub in Central again, I think it might be worth an idea to, investigate and see if we could possibly come up with a partnership across intergovernmental bodies and take on something like that. It would be a huge economic generator for our city, and I'm not talking about small generator. I'm talking about millions of dollars a year, and it also brings more people to our city as far as tourism, as we like to say, heads and beds and butts and seats. So, I mean, it's a big challenge, but I would really like to see an indoor track here again. We have a facility that I think, with the help of Jim DeLapp and the administration, we might be able to fit it into a program.
I take your challenge on, Councilman. Really, in the sports event industry, it's all about facilities first, and we are starting to invest in our facilities, and that's really the key. And you're right. The track and field, just mentioning track and field, it's one of the largest participatory sports in high school. So there are a lot of kids, girls and boys, running track or throwing the discus or doing high jump so yes, I'm with you on that. It's just a question of the investment. So
I planted the seed. Now I think you just need to rub on Jim DeLapp and Lemire a little bit.
I'll work on them.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I would like to piggyback behind my colleagues. It was a great game this weekend. There was a lot of big games in Alabama. In Birmingham, we had Morehouse and Tuskegee in Alabama State, where a lot of people graduated from Alabama State from Mobile, went to their homecoming this weekend with Bethune-Cookman. So with 19,000 plus, it was pretty good because we had some pretty big games going on in the state of Alabama this past weekend. And I appreciate all the support that you have given, to not only just the sports authority, but the community, because the community in whole is the ones that really enjoy these games and everything.
Thank you. Love what I do. So thank you very much.
President. Mr. President. Mr. Penn.
Thank you, Danny, as well, for everything and the team. This past week, I had the opportunity to attend all the events, and it was just beautiful to see all the people starting on Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, downtown Mobile, you know, enjoying it after they left the concerts. They was downtown and, you know, enjoying the city of Mobile. So this is a major economic impact for the city. And not just even, you know, the attendance, but it was so many thousands of people outside the game as well, tailgating. So they buying food and enjoying themselves. So this is a major culture shift for the city of Mobile, sporting event. I did have a question. The state bowling championship, where is that going to be located at?
We're going to do that at, well, it used to be called Camellia Lanes. It's now called Bolero Mobile on Schillingers Road. It's the 42-lane bowling house. So it's our only bowling center left in Mobile County right now, because Skyline's closed about 3 or 4 months ago.
All right, thanks.
So, and they just, and Camellia Lanes just put in a major renovation. So that was also something that helped get the state here.
All right, perfect.
Mr. President, you said that, just want to make sure I understand it, in the previous 5 Gulf Coast Classic or challenges, there was 47,000 visitors?
That's what we estimate total for the 5 games total.
Okay, and that includes this year?
No, that does not include this year, because we don't have those numbers yet.
All right, so that's 10,000 per year. So if we just assume that, then we would think that 9,000 local folks went this year?
Right.
And the remainder were from out of town?
That's, it usually runs between 8,000 to 10,000, but until we see the zip codes of the credit cards where the tickets were bought, that's sort of how we do it, and then we extrapolate out of that.
Okay, and the 19,000 that attended this year, which is an estimate, was that arrived at by ticket sales or just a count? How did you arrive at it?
It's ticket sales. Most of that sponsorship tickets, and there were some comp tickets, is what I understand. I don't.
Based on tickets, is what it
Yes, tickets and also media. We had about 40 media, but 95% of that number is tickets.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Christine Dallas. Sabrina Mass.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sabrina Mass. I'm here to speak on the concern of the courts here in the Government Plaza. Okay, I'm so short. I'm speaking on open courts compendium and also access to rights in the jurisdiction. And I will explain briefly. And it's also overcoming presumption of openness in Alabama. In order for a presumptively open criminal proceeding to be closed, a court must make specific on-the-record findings demonstrating that closure is essential to preserve the higher values, and the closure order is narrowly tailored to serve those interests. And I'm speaking on this because during the pandemic, all the courts were limited to how many could sit in the courts. And after the pandemic, now all the district courts are open, and they have been open. But even to this present day, as I'm speaking today, the municipal and the small courts are still closed to the public. They won't even allow citizens to go inside the courts during proceedings, which is illegal, unless there is something that is a judge said has to do with the courts and why it's closed. It has to be an agenda. It has to be known to the public. And I'm talking about when people are trying to go into these courts, it may be for a traffic ticket to support their child or their friend or their neighbor or whomever, a small court. They're denying citizens to go in. Excuse me?
Hold up. In the beginning of the meeting, I had stated the rules that all electronic device off of the vibrate position. Please, at this time, please put your beepers, cell phones, etc. on off or vibrate position. If we can just give Ms. Mass back her time, I apologize.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So my concern, and I'm saying this because citizens have been telling me about it. So I personally went to the upstairs to the municipal court I didn't have anybody involved in it, but I went, tried to enter the court, and the bailiff blocked me. And there was many citizens sitting out, waiting for their friends, family, or whomever to come out the courts. And it's becoming chaotic because the people are now questioning, well, why can't we go in to support our family or our friends? And that's infringing on people's rights. Everyone has a right to go and spectate in a court, no matter if they're involved in the proceeding or not. And I know that because I go to many district courts right here in the city of Mobile, interest case, and watch the courts. So if the bigger courts, the district courts are open to the public freely, why aren't the municipal courts and the smaller courts open to the citizens? Because they're all under the same laws. And the Supreme Court also has deemed that these laws that I haven't gotten into the section and codes because I'm on limited time, but the Supreme Court, if you look it up, says that all citizens have a right to go in any open court or any court unless it is something that the judge deems the public cannot have access to listening to or hearing. So I'm asking today if you guys can investigate that and let the judges know and the bailiffs know that we have a right to attend the courts. Thank you, and you have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention, Ms. Madison. That's something that we'll ask the product committee meeting soon and get with the presiding judge to see what's going on. Okay. Madam Clerk, Mr. Clare.
Can we not be granted an answer here from the administration on why the municipal courts aren't open to the general public? Can you not provide an answer for that, or are you aware that the general public is not being allowed admittance into municipal court?
So we're not aware, but that's not really a question for us.
Is that a decision that's made by the presiding judge? Or?
Not necessarily. It isn't. That would be each judge controls their courtroom, so you'd have to know the specific judge. But that's not really a question that we can answer. We can check into it, but that's not really on us.
We'll get a committee together and look into it. Madam Clerk.
Reggie Hill. Reggie is also addressing resolutions 14, 1102, 02, 047, 01, 1125, in addition to what he non-agenda items.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Originally, I signed to speak on amending the FY24 budget, but in the absence of the finance chair, I'll reserve those to a later date. In similar fashion, nonetheless, I rise today to continue a conversation on our city's priorities. Many moons ago, I entered politics believing the arena was about service, innovation, and improving the quality of life for all citizens, especially for the future and those unborn. But then I quickly learned politics has nothing to do with serving others unless it's in some legal sense. Here in the South, politics equates to using taxpayer resources to support and secure the self-interest of an elitist structure and the so-called high and mighty. Let's examine how that is referenced on today's agenda. We'll begin with 02-047, which refers to reapportionment. We are each very aware of our previous redistricting process and how in the 11th hour we deviated from the plan that had been publicized and agreed upon by the public to usher in a compromise that still threatens elections in our city. Let's avoid such throughout this process going forward. Now let's look at 14-1102. Interesting enough, this morning, Mr. Simpson expressed his concern for pet homelessness, yet based on this agenda item, we don't have a plan for human homelessness. As suggested by Mr. Reynolds, let's send the entire initiative back to committee with a new approach centered around ARP funds, suggestively, and resources allotted to the Neighborhood Development Department. Lastly, today, 01, that's 1125. I believe President Bonner is doing a phenomenal job at the University of South Alabama, and I believe his influence alone can muster up federal and private resources to construct an education and research building because unfortunately the city of Mobile just doesn't have the money for it. We see this now. We go back to the idea. I might not agree how Mr. Carroll wants to approach this thing, but the initiative is necessary because we're dealing with a housing crisis. We look at the idea of the social services that are being overlooked here in the city of Mobile. We have organizations who have plans that actually work, that are data proven, and they are not given the resources to implement those plans. because we often say we don't have the resources to do it. We have something that is not really examined that much, but potentially a climate hazard here as well, with something as simple as drainage alone. We see that we've invested additional millions into CIP, but what are they actually going for? These are for things to show and look as if the aesthetic process is moving well, but what are we doing to ensure the safety and quality of life here is improved, particularly for those in our most underserved areas? So, as we know, citizens don't have the proper time to address these matters, so we'll offer more details in the coming days, but I ask that you would please consider that, and remember this, the budget is a living document. So we have time to amend it. So just because it looks to be this way right now does not mean we have to stay there. I hope that we use our conscience and intelligence to actually do things that are going to improve the city of Mobile. Thank you for yielding the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Madam Clerk.
Resolution is held over 01-1099. Authorize agreement with Michael Donald to provide racket stringer services for Parks and Recreation Department. 08-1100. Approve purchase order to FIS Outdoor for fertilizer for parks and maintenance. 21-1103. Authorized contract with Canon Solutions America Inc. For print services and supplies. 21-1104. Authorized contract amendment with Chris Francis Tree Care for citywide tree maintenance and removal services. 60-1105. Consent to the designation of a portion of Church Street from the intersection of McDonald Avenue to 160 feet east, the intersection of McDonald Avenue as a one-way street.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded in discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes.
14-1102. Approve an application seeking permission to incorporate a capital improvement cooperative district and authorizing such incorporation.
Motion to lay over until 31 October.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded in discussion.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Mr. Reynolds.
I don't understand the need to hold this over. Again, as I stated in pre-council, we don't have the ability to amend or change these petitioners' application, and I don't see myself supporting this in its current form, so I don't understand the need to have further discussion about this particular petition. It would be my preference to see us dispose of this petition, although I appreciate the petitioners bringing ideas forward for us to discuss and consider. But I would prefer to have a committee meeting where it's not so focused or surrounding this particular petition, and it can be a more productive meeting discussing particularly the $29 or so million that we have received from the federal government for addressing affordable housing and getting a roadmap and working with the administration to lay out the plan on the specific projects. And we've heard it from the public. Everybody's clamoring and wants to know and understand how these resources are going to be utilized. And we've had some meetings and we've allocated money to some buckets here or there, but we don't know for certain, what projects we're going to take on and what projects we're going to tackle. So I would prefer to have a committee meeting addressing that because we've got a tremendous resource here that there's a shot clock running. But if we just hold this over and have a committee meeting on this particular petition, it's going to be lobbying for its passage and discussion about it when, I don't see myself supporting it as is, and we don't have the ability to amend it. So I would ask that we don't hold this over.
Mr. Carroll.
Mr. President, let me thank you for your comments, but however, this cooperative deals with more than ARPA funding, and you keep reverting back to ARPA funding. As I explained to you earlier today, and I'm going to do this again so that the whole entire city can hear this, the ARPA funding is only $26 million, and it has a short life, and it will only be with us until it is extinguished. But establishing a process that will have a lifespan beyond this council to where we can continue to provide affordable housing in neighborhoods that have been, underserved, for multiple lifetimes is the object of this. Matter of fact, the original funding for this that we're starting doesn't even come from ARPA funding. It actually comes from a different source, since that you're aware of, that we've been discussing for a while. The overall goal is to go into neighborhoods perpetually so that they can become vital parts of our community again, to provide hope for people that have not had the hope, to provide affordable housing for those that have not had the ability to get there. Mobile is so underserved with affordable housing. So it's not that this program is solely dedicated to ARPA funding. Matter of fact, there hasn't even been an agreement from the administration to even use ARPA funding in this program at this point in time. So, I mean, you're mixing apples and oranges here, and I don't know if it's a deliberate attempt to derail it, because I wouldn't dare, if I was anybody on this council, put up a deliberate attempt to derail helping people that need it, and helping neighborhoods that are underserved, helping neighborhoods that the houses can barely stand up, helping neighborhoods that are flooding. I wouldn't dare do that. Just like you want me to help pass a piece of legislation that gives an agency that has hundreds of millions of dollars with additional $1 million a year, I'm asking that we all find a way to make this work, because it's helping the least of us, and it's helping our neighborhoods, and it's helping us rebuild a city. Now, I'm not pointing a finger, but this is to help this city and to help those that need us the most. The people need us, and they're asking for help every day. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Mr. Reynolds.
I certainly can appreciate the gentleman from 2 trying to get politics stirred up in all of this, and to suggest that me or anyone else here is not in favor of providing hope to the underserved or addressing affordable housing throughout our city. I mean, that's a good attempt, but that's not the facts. The facts is that me, and I believe everyone else at this table and the administration, are all for addressing the issue we have with affordable housing. Nobody objects to that whatsoever. So it's a false statement to try to suggest that derailing this, this plan is an effort to derail an effort to fix affordable housing. My point is simply this, that you cannot create additional levels of bureaucracy and expect to get and duplicating services and expect to get a good outcome with it. Just slows down the process. I think there's an old saying, something to the effect of, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, and unfortunately I think that's what this is. And I don't think we ought to have a whole lot of discussion about it, because it's just, a road to nowhere in my opinion. And I, commend Councilman Carroll for taking on the issue. I think we can find a better solution to the problem than duplicating services, creating another level of bureaucracy. So again, I ask that we
Mr. President,
do not hold this over and continue this discussion.
Mr. President, just one statement. You're right. It's your opinion.
And again, Mr. Reynolds is 1 vote out of 7, and I believe that we really need to sit down and talk about this. Looking on the 24th, also would like to talk about, as the city, to also, if on the 24th, that we can have a meeting to see what's a roadmap as far as attainable houses and for the future, and see where we at with the funding, because that question keep on coming up on the 24th. So, Mr. Carroll, we can just do a meeting on the 24th dealing with your resolution.
Yes, Mr. President, but we're looking at a petition. There's no structured ordinance in place yet. In this petition, once all the partnering agencies are on board, or we know where we are, then we'll have the ability to write the structure of an ordinance. Yeah. We're just getting started here. So we can have a committee meeting on the petition. That'd be great.
Yeah, for everybody to know exactly where we at right now, for everybody to be on one accord and have an understanding. So that'd be on the 24th, and also we can get the administration to also show us a plan on the 24th before it's the funding and everything. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Items laid over to the 31st. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance is being introduced, 02047 through 64048.
Per council rules, this will lay over for 1 week.
Consent resolutions being introduced, 311108 through 601123.
Move to waive the rules for immediate consideration of these resolutions as read.
Second.
Been properly moved and second in discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Rules waived.
311108, authorizing application to U.S. Department of Energy's Office of State and Community Energy Programs for the placement of a fellow to assist the Office of Resiliency. 371109, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a retail beer, table, wine off premises only license for Central Stop on House Ferry Road. 581110, declare weeds noxious, group 1648. 60 11, 11, 11, 12, 11, 13 are approving award a special bonus to the Parks and Recreation employee, Public Services Department employee, and Public Works at-large employees of the month. 60, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 are determining appropriations to Booker T. Washington Middle School, Miss Alabama Foundation, Tubmanville Crichton Community Development Corporation, Trinity Gardens Community Civic Club, Trinity Gardens Falcons Athletics, Marching Cougars Band Booster Club, United Way of Southwest Alabama, Inc., the Child Advocacy Center, Inc., CC's Classic Catering, LLC, Jubilee Youth Service Leadership Academy serve a public purpose in approving payment.
So moved.
Second. Been properly moved and second in discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes.
CIP resolutions being introduced, 081124.
Move to waive the rules for immediate consideration of this resolution.
Second.
Been properly moved and second in discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk?
081124, approved purchase order to Vulcan Construction Materials, LP, for limestone for Helenwood Park.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second in discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes.
Resolutions being introduced, 011125 through 311135.
Per council rules, these will lay over for 1 week.
Call for public hearings, 411136, call for public hearing to rezone property located at 6137 Todd Acres Drive from B5 and I-2 to B5, scheduled November 14th. 411137, call for public hearing to consider a modification of a previously approved planning approval for property located at 65 North Mobile Street, scheduled November 14th. 411138, call for public hearing to consider a modification of a previously approved planned unit development for property located at 65 North Mobile Street, scheduled November 14th.
So moved. Second.
Been properly moved and second in discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Public hearing is called.
Announcements.
District 4, Councilman Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. President. This weekend, unfortunately, I was not able to attend, and I appreciate State Representative Margie Wilcox for standing in for me to unveil the honorary naming of Commerce Boulevard and naming it Victor Birch Memorial Way. It was widely attended by many of the runners and the family of Mr. Victor Birch. Representative Wilcox was joined by someone from the assistant district attorney, from the district attorney's office. And it was fantastic, and we hope that this dedication of this road, or this memorial naming of the road, will serve as a beacon of light for everyone in the community to remember the great citizen that Victor Birch was. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. District 6, Councilman Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to remind everybody that we do have a District 6 meeting next Tuesday night at the Connie Hudson Regional Senior Center, and that's at 6 o'clock. And do want to let everyone know that did talk to Mr. Snowden before the meeting, and finally the plague of coyotes is being handled, so hopefully we'll see some resolution then. But look, if you still see those issues affect your neighborhood, please shoot me an email, let me know so we can pass it along. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Wood. District 1, Councilman Finn.
No announcements.
District 2, Councilman Carroll.
No announcements, Mr. President.
District 7, Vice President Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. President. This past Friday, I filled in for the mayor at Magnolia Grove for the Mayor's Cup Golf Tournament. It is to benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs. We had a great turnout. Even though there had been some rain in the area, it was perfect weather. The grounds were beautiful and they were dry enough for everyone to play. So thank you to all the sponsors, in particular Lexus of Mobile, who is the title sponsor every year. Again, it was a great turnout, and the proceeds of this golf tournament every year go to the Boys and Girls Clubs. Coming up, I have a community meeting scheduled for some of our newly annexed residents in Kings Branch and Orchard Estates. It will be Monday, November 13th at the grounds at 6 o'clock p.m. Postcards will be going out soon, so they should hit the mailboxes, and we just look for a really great turnout. A number of members of the administration have been invited to come and share information with all of our new residents. Also, some good news coming up. Crews are beginning to mobilize out in my district for some pay-as-you-go work. Mobile Terrace is on tap. Howells Ferry Road will be coming soon, so just be looking for the crews. And if you park on the street, just be aware that you're going to have to move your cars around so that the machinery and all can get in for all the work. But that's really great news for our district. And that's pay-as-you-go funding from the Mobile County Commission. Thank you.
And greetings to the citizens of District 3. On next week, I will be announcing several community meetings and holiday activities for the month of October, November, December. So look out next week for those important dates. Anything from the administration?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Properly moving second in discussion. All in